Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Georgiana with Expressions Craft Studio, and if you've been watching, you know I've kind of been on a card kick lately where I am recreating other people's cards so that you can cut them with your Cricut, because most of the people that I watch do theirs by hand, so they do all their cutting and scoring by hand, but I like to use my Cricut because I cannot cut straight or score straight or fold straight or any of that. So for me, the Cricut really makes this a whole lot easier. But while I was in that rabbit hole of looking for interesting cards to recreate, I came across this Gatefold card by Ardith. And the video's from 3 years ago. She actually does 4 Gatefolds, although the first 2 are pretty similar. And I will link it below because it is from 3 years ago, so it's might be a little bit hard to find. But what caught my attention wasn't so much the card itself, because it's a pretty standard gatefold card, but it was the way she used this stencil on the front of this. So that's what we're looking at right here, is after she's completed using her different inks and stuff through the stencil, she's got her card front ready. And you could do this on a regular card, you know, a basic fold card too. It doesn't have to be a gatefold, but I just thought it was really interesting. So that made me want to go out and see what I could find for Christmas tree stencils. So I went to my old standby, and give me a second to pull it up here. So this is Creative Fabrica, and I've mentioned it several times before. I use it a lot. I think the membership is $3.99 a month, which is a really good deal, and I will put a link below if you're interested in that. Signing up for a membership. I think you can also just download images and pay for them individually, but a membership just makes a lot more sense for me, and I think it probably does at that price for most people. But they have all kinds of images, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions. So I went out and I put in Christmas tree silhouette. Now first I looked for stencil, and I did find a couple interesting things. Those were mostly for laser machines, you know, laser cutting machines. That doesn't mean they wouldn't work with your Cricut, because they are SVG files, but that wasn't exactly what I was looking for, although I think I probably did download one of them. But anyway, I found some really interesting ones here. Now the thing about these to know is, because you're making a stencil, certain images won't work. So I'm going to enlarge my screen here, and I'll kind of explain what I mean by that. These would work to cut out the image, and it could be kind of used as a reverse stencil, I guess. I don't know if there's a better word for that. If you were like doing what is that called, the jelly plate stuff, you know, where you're putting your paints and your inks on the jelly plate, and then you could put the stencil down and then put another layer over it. It could work for that, but to cut out a stencil like Ardith used, this would not work. And the reason is because you have all of these open spaces here, which essentially would be the stencil material themselves. Well, those would just fall out. They would just disappear. So stencils like these would not work. Now, stencils like these may work. You're just going to have to look for basically islands, is what I like to call them, and I think I've heard other people call them that as well. This white space in here, if I can get it a little bit larger, this would be an island. Except, well, no, not except. This would be an island, so this stencil wouldn't work. But if we scroll over, this one looks like it might work, because there is a little bit of space between those. Well, these gaps here, you could open that up though by cutting away part of that design if you needed to, kind of like this leaf over here, to make that stencil work. Otherwise you'd have to lay those down inside the stencil. You know, that's just, nobody wants to do that. So anyway, while I was looking, I found some really interesting ones here. For instance, I really like this one, and this one would work. It doesn't look like there's any islands in there. This one, I really love this, but it's very intricate, so I don't know about cutting it small. I would probably have to do away with all of these little dots or circles. This one would work, but these bottom two on the left and the right would not work because they have these islands in them. and those would just disappear. So they won't work for the technique we're using today, but they will work for plenty of other things. So what I have to do now is I have to decide which one I want to make today. So this is probably going to be a two-part video series, if you can call that a series, because today we'll make the stencil, and then in the next video we'll make the card. And we might make a couple of different cards, try a couple of different techniques and see what we like best. But yeah, it's just a matter of picking a stencil. I also really like this one. So let's blow that up. Oh look, yes, I think that would work. I think that would look lovely. Okay, so we're going to do that one. So we're going to just click on that. It'll open a new window. I'm going to download it. And I like to put CF in front of everything. I've been collecting digital images for many, many years, and I didn't always put where I got the image from. So some of my older images, I don't know who to give credit to because I don't know where I got them. So I try to put CF for Creative Fabrica in front of everything now. But I do need to get to the right place. So I'm going to go into my downloads folder. Now don't be alarmed, you're going to see a lot of stuff that I haven't even unzipped yet. Okay, so you can see I've got my file here at the top. I do like to sort things by date, just makes it easier for me. So I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to go back to this. Well, actually I think I was in the right place to begin with. I want to extract, and I'm going to hit extract all. There it is. Okay. So I'm going to just double click on this. Oh, it just gave me a JPEG. Well, I don't like that. So I don't use the EPS file, so I just delete those. So I'm going to take and copy this file name, and I'm going to rename this file. That way I know where I got it, in case I need to download it again, or just let people know where they can get it also. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to drag this over to my Christmas, and I call elements just things for lots of other subfolders. And I'm going to drag it over to trees. And then when I go back, I can just delete that. And I will take and I will move the zip file over to where I saved my zip files. Alright, so I'm done in here. Alright, so I've got my strong grip mat here. I don't use this one very often, but this is a nice plastic mylar material. I don't know. It's those folders that you get when, usually you can get a lot of them in different colors and pretty good prices during back to school, which is coming up, unfortunately for the kids, right? Although I always enjoyed school. But anyway, this is just half of one of those little back to school plastic notebooks, and that's what I like to use for my stencils because they're inexpensive, and depending on the size of my stencil I can usually get 4 out of one notebook, or if it has the pockets on it I might get 6. So I like these and I use them a lot. But let me remove my cover here. Like I said, I don't use this mat very often. And we're going to put this, let's see, I'm going to cut it this way. So I'm going to put this up here. And I don't usually use tape on this mat, so hopefully I won't need any today. I don't think I will. I think this will be just fine. Just getting it nice and pressed down there. So we're going to go back into Design Space. We're going to go to Make. Will be saved. Yes, I'm not going to save it right now. I'll save it later. And that is where we want it. So I think no, I'll just leave it. Okay. So then we're going to go to Continue. It is available. They've done some updates, and now my machine doesn't want to connect half the time. Now we're connected. Thank you. So this is going to be the flexible stencil film, maybe? It's not vinyl though. So no, I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to browse all materials, and I'm going to type in stencil and see what it comes up, because I can't remember what I've used before. I don't think this is 4mm. So let me type in Mylar. What does that say? Can I look? Oh, I can't make it a thingy. Okay, well, boy, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want it to cut too many times because it'll end up cutting through my mat, but I guess I can always pause it. Hold on just a moment. I'm going to ask Google a question. Well, I asked Google and it told me polypropylene. I am pretty sure that is not in here, but let me look. Yeah, no, not surprised. Let me just type in plastic. There's the Mylar. Cutting mat protector. No, not acetate. Plastic canvas, plastic packaging. You know what, I'm going to go back to stencil. And we're just going to work with there. It is flexible. It's not matless. Well, we'll try it. And this wants the fine point blade, which is all what we already have. I'm going to tell it more pressure just because. And we're going to go ahead and hit start. All right. Sorry, I'm rearranging a little bit here. The Cricut's finished cutting, and it looks like it did a good job. It's already starting to come out of there. I might have to do a little touch up, but it shouldn't be bad. It did 3 passes, and that setting was for the, yeah, I don't remember now. Flexible stencil film, maybe. But you can see it's coming right off of there. So that still leaves me a nice big piece here to make a stencil. And if I wanted something small, like, you know, maybe a butterfly or a couple butterflies or some leaves or something, you know, whatever you can think of really could fit down here in this little lower portion. So I'm going to peel this up and see what we got. So it left quite a bit of it behind, which is good. That's what we want. Let's see if I can pull out the rest of these. They seem to be coming out pretty easily. Well, this one, I say that, and then this one gets stuck. But I will grab my craft knife here. It looks like it's maybe right through there. Oh no, it's not. It's down here in this tip. So let's see if that did the trick. If not, I may have to work on that separately just to see. I need binoculars for glasses anymore. It's up here that it's catching. Let's see, did that do it? Aha! Okay, finish poking these out. I might need to cut that one. Nope, there it goes. And this one up here that I was worried about, it cut out perfect. I am glad I put it on extra pressure, because I would have to do a lot more manual cutting if I hadn't, or you know, trimming, whatever you want to call this that I'm doing here. There's one that's a little stuck. Now if you find this setting works pretty good for you, you can always go into the settings and adjust it to give it a little bit more pressure. I didn't do that. I wish I could save more than just the 10 settings that I have, but that's what they give you. So maybe a little notebook or a list so that you know what works best for the materials that you use. If you have more than the 10 options that they let you save. That one's stuck a little bit right there. Good thing is it's cut enough that once I get the tip of the blade into the groove, it goes pretty good. I don't have to worry about it wandering off somewhere else. There we go. I think I got it all out, so let me scoop this all up into a pile. So this little blade, I got this from Amazon. It's a Fisker's fingertip blade, and I love it. I have others, you know, craft knives, but I like the control I have with this one. So if anyone's interested, I'll link it below. It is from Amazon, and it is an affiliate link, but it doesn't cost you anything extra. So I'm going to bring this back up, this mat back up, and lay that down so you can see how nicely that cut out. So in the next video, we're going to take and we're going to use this on a card front. Alright guys, well if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Just drop me a line in the comments or send me an email. It should be listed in the comments toward the bottom. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Like I said, I'd love to share this with you, but I can't because it's an imported image and we're not allowed to share those. But I will share the PNG. Sorry, I'm just cleaning it up a little more. I will share the PNG in the Facebook or on the Facebook page for Expressions Craft Studio. But there you go. You've got your Christmas tree stencil, and you can turn it over and use it from either side. So you get a slightly different look because it's a little bit different. But there you go. Now I'm just going to clean up my stencil and edit this video. Until next time guys, thanks again for joining me. Thank you again to all of my users, subscribers, old and new. I really appreciate you. We're growing. Eventually we'll make it to 1,000, and that makes me really happy. So until next time guys, I hope you have a happy crafty day.